All right. Your boy's back. Back with another show. This is Leon Real Estate Lunchbox. Guys, I appreciate you taking the time to even jump by this channel and take a look at it. I appreciate it so much. I'm thankful that you would actually pause and look at the thumbnail and the header and say, hey, let me check this out. Let me grab my water real quick because this is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be very controversial for some of you guys that are so heavily sensitive right now concerning President Donald J. Trump. This is to me, this is why we do what we do. At the end of the day, I kind of feel when you don't speak up or when you don't have a voice, you become people that just jump into your comments, your post. You become people that just jump into comments and post and just troll people. And I got a couple of them. I got enough trolls. I got enough. But I love trolling you guys. I'm one of the best trollers out there. I enjoy it. But let's be for real. We got to talk about this meme because I did a live stream the day that it came out. I did a live stream on it, and uh, I just pulled exactly the video that was there and I played it and I went through it with you guys. If you don't see it, go to the live uh, uh, short, and I just broke it down. And I'm probably going to break it down a little bit more because this is one of those places I feel now where they want you to be in a place where you start running and you're hiding and you're like, oh yeah, Donald Trump is a racist. I should have never backed him. That's the expression. That's what they want. When I say they, I mean the left, I mean Democrats, even some Republicans. Really, when I say they, I mean the whole system that's designed to make you vote right or even left. Because I'm going to give equal smoke to both sides right about now. Me as a conservative, it's about to give equal smoke to both sides right now. We're going to talk about this. So, first thing I want to start off with, I got to start from this point because first we got to categorize. We got to what we're actually fighting. What is this when you open up your iPad, you open up your phone, your computer, wherever you're at, and you're inundated with so much. Trump did this. Jasmine Crockett did that. Uh, Ilhan Omar did this. Did you hear what's coming over here with Iran? Constant. I want to start the premises by saying, God, I love my black people. I love black Americans. I love it. I love black America. I love the great parts of the culture. The culture is trash in other parts, and I'm not going to act like it's not. But I do love and I appreciate this unique culture that we have as black Americans. Black Americans did so much for the world that the world has no concept. But the problem is when I start raising up black America and be like, yeah, black America did that. And all it is just another opportunity for someone to say, oh yeah, Leon, yeah, yeah. But what about this? Let me talk to you about what you're fighting first. Let's start first.
This is what happened last night in Italy, Milan, at the Winter Olympics. And this is how other countries deal with protesting. Watch. It gets worse from there, but it's probably going to get flagged if I post everything. Did you know that other countries don't have a First Amendment? Did you know that other countries, that their government can decide what acceptable speech is? Did you know that? You might want to do your research before you stay here and go and try to interfere with everything that's going on, screaming that you're losing your rights while using those rights.
So I played that briefly, and it goes longer. And when I saw this, I said, man, this kind of fits. We're in a place right now where even if you say what you feel about something or your opinion on it, even if you've done the research and you've looked at it and you've sat back and said, oh, this doesn't make sense, you will still be attacked. And you're typically attacked by the people who have low IQs, who don't really do any type of political research. They don't sit back and watch any documentaries. They may have taken what their mom, their sister, their cousin, their dad told them, never went ahead and did any type of research for themselves. Polarized by this media machine, which is only getting more intense with the use of AI. AI means we can put out so much content, and it doesn't even have to be right content. It doesn't have to be verified. We can just put so much slop out there, and people will consider it to be real. So being brainwashed by propaganda is not far off in this climate right now. If I would say anything right now, that the ability to actually sort through information, content, and actually think for yourself is the best skill to have. It's the best skill to have to tell you what you're getting, if it even makes sense, if it's true. It's the worst skill when you tell them the truth and then they throw you up against the wall. I'm doing this specifically because Black people don't know who they are, bro. Black people have no concept of who they are. Black people, and it's a shame, are easily offended by anything that they hear that fits the narrative that their internal image doesn't like. I give you an example. Internally, after you've gone through the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, 80s, even now, prejudice that Black people experienced in the 50s and the 60s, they equate that same level of prejudice to what's taking place right now. And I tell them, this is not prejudice. We're not dealing with racism like known traditionally, historically. It's completely different. If anything, we're dealing more with a sense of classism, because the financial lines, the shifting between the have and the have-nots have jumped so much. So in comes Donald J. Trump. Donald J. Trump. I'm going to start this by saying, check this out, guys. This is the actual site that originally did this post that we're going to be talking about. You know the post with the monkey that that came out of the White House and Donald Trump's Truth Social? This is the site. It was actually published probably 2024, 2023 by Exodus. And if you look at the video, Exodus, his watermark is on there. Last night he said, President Trump posted a video where one of my old clips appeared at the very end. You won't believe which one it is. So he's taking already responsibility. He's acknowledging that the clip belonged to him. Now, for some people who dislike Donald Trump, for them it's brand new. And the reason it's brand new is they've never seen anything like this before. They didn't know that this clip has been around since 2024. In 2024, he released this clip. This is not a brand new thing. He took responsibility for it right there. You see it. Follow him on X. You can go to his site and you'll actually see on X the actual clip, like the full clip. But I decided to take a piece from this clip because I feel that this is a larger issue than I'm racist. He's racist. Leon, you're backing a racist. Why are they treating this racist like this? Do you know what he did to Barack Obama? And we'll get into that Barack Obama more detailed in that post, because I'm going to tell you, be honest, None of y'all like Barack Obama any damn way. Most of y'all don't like Barack Obama at all. Not all black people like Barack Obama, but for some reason right now, we do have a hovering around Barack Obama and the way he was victimized in all of this. Victimized. So let's play the clip up to that point.
Occurred that favored Joe Biden.
Okay. So that's a brief portion up until that clip actually kicked in. Okay. So this clip was originally about, what would you call it? Voter suppression. Voter suppression. On how Trump lost the election in 2016, well, not 2016, 2020, based off of voter suppression. What's crazier about this clip is that the full clip shows how the Democratic Party used these voting machines to turn around and taint the vote. They went further on in this clip to actually show how the machines that came from China had a chip in it. And the chip, they believed, was responsible for tainting the vote, like changing the narrative of the votes that came in. So when a vote came in, that clip was there. So you don't think you're like, Leon, you crazy. Check this out right here. I want to make sure I had this. Go ahead, check it out.
And here's the video.
A Telit 4G wireless chip manufactured in Taiwan was discovered embedded into the motherboard. The voting machine tapes clearly indicate modem engagement and transmission of election data. Some of the anomalies that we noticed in the 2020 general elections, that 5 key states all stopped counting at a certain time in these key battleground states. These were all where the software, Dominion machines, ES&S machines were used, the Smartmatic, the GEMS software. So when the vote stopped counting, and this has been noted in other countries as well, President Trump was significantly ahead. When reporting and counting resumed, there was a massive spike occurred that favored Joe Biden.
Now, right at that is the actual clip. That's the actual clip that the president received, that he went through, and at the end of it, it jumps right into this meme. The meme that he didn't create. The meme that I personally feel the staffer who put it up there needs to be fired. That's my personal opinion. Because I said it before, I believe that this kind of cost, and people don't want to agree, I feel like you got to shift votes in your way to win every election, midterms included, presidential election. You're converting those people that sit in the middle, because you already got the people that are starched leftists and they're there. You got the people that are starched right and they're staying. And then you got the people in the center that are saying, hey, let's see who the candidates are and what they offer. How do they compare to each other? That middle ground is growing very, very thin. Matter of fact, it's probably there. They don't really comment on stuff. They watch it. They may like something or dislike something. But either way, if they are ever voted independent and they saw this and they said, oh, well, shoot. They heard everybody saying Trump's racist. Trump's racist. You saw the video he did. He's racist. If they ever saw that and they decided that they wanted to believe this narrative, this propaganda that's pushed on them, they would do it. People aren't going to like what I have to say. I know you guys don't like it. Some people don't. And I'm probably going to have people that say, hey, Leon, I don't want to follow your channel no more because I believe you support a racist. Despite the fact that this is the account that actually created that post, that created that meme. It didn't come out of osmosis. It came from this account. We're going to talk some interesting points right now. What was behind this? Like, what brought this out? Like, what caused this? Where we initially started this with this video, it was about voter suppression. It was the tool that Trump was using to say, hey, we need national voter ID It needs to be legalized. It needs to be taken from the state level since they can't handle it and take it to the national level so the government can handle it. And it's funny that because that video came out, the conversation when it comes to national voter requirements has been thrown out the window. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about it at all. Nobody's saying anything about it. Now Trump comes out and Trump says, I'm gonna pull Trump's clip. Let me pull this clip real quick. Trump comes out and he says, I'm not gonna go ahead and apologize. And everybody went crazy. I mean, y'all lost y'all cotton picking, y'all lost your minds. Most of the people, well, a lot of the people on the left use this as a great opportunity to jump on and say, see, I said he's racist. Then we had the virtue signaling ones, the ones that wanted to say, oh, listen, we back you. You're right about that. Trump, you're right about that. Trump, you need to apologize. Trump, you need to apologize. Trump, you need to apologize. What do you mean you don't want to apologize? Why should he apologize? For something a staffer did? I can see that. But they didn't ask to apologize for what a staffer said. They asked to apologize for being that racist meme. Despite of the fact that he didn't put it out, despite of the fact that it was tied to the end of that clip, which I said the staffer who actually did it needs to be fired. Missing the whole point of why we even had this clip to begin with. Why this clip was even out there to begin with. The clip was out there because we needed to talk about national voter ID laws. And that's the biggest thing right now that's on the ballot. That's going to be one of the biggest things as we get into these next 3 years, 2 years, as we eclipse and we go past midterms. It's going to be about, do you need ID when you show up to vote? The Democratic Party doesn't believe that. They don't believe you need any sort of ID when that takes place. They don't believe that at all. They believe that if you have ID, you're doing something wrong.
Can you play the other clip I just sent you, Rob? Because this is the language when you hear it.
Just because it's so funny.
Do you think voter ID laws are racist?
I think so. Republicans are just trying to make it really fucking hard for minorities to vote.
Why do they?
So this is a white guy, white boy. He's saying that it's racist. How does this white boy know what racism is? But let's take it a step further. He's saying in addition to that he's making it hard. That means that me and other black people that live in the inner city, we don't have the competency or the cash to actually get an ID and present it. Matter of fact, we don't have the ability because our documents are all over. You know, we came from Africa, right? You know that, right? So since we've been here as slaves, we came here and we don't have any type of ID to validate what country we came from. That's the reason why this is suppressive.
Do that?
Because they hate black people.
Do you have an ID?
Absolutely.
What do you have to say to all the people that say that black Americans can't get voter ID?
That's a really ignorant.
Do you have an ID? Absolutely. But ID is racist. It's racist.
And a stupid thing to say.
You're disproportionately making people who don't have IDs, which are usually people of color, have to go out and pay to vote, which is going to disencourage a lot of those people.
In America.
This is what people are taught. This is what people are taught about black people. If black people, if anything, should be more offended at the fact that people believe that they don't have the competency to get an ID. That this affects a majority of black people. Even if it affected one black person, I would feel a certain way about it. I'm like, yeah, man, he doesn't have the ability to get the ID. Hold on, but wait. Can he get he can't get an identification. He doesn't have a place to live. He doesn't have anything that shows his ID. Why not make it easier for black people, for people in general to get IDs? I mean, now there's that I'm cautious with that because this leads us into another space, which I've spoken about on other videos, that the requirement to show citizenship, to show that you're a resident here, non-existent. Very small. I don't think it's hard. I don't think it's a push. But that requirement isn't hard, but now we want to lower it even lower. I think it makes it easier to now have fraudulent IDs created, fraudulent verifications.
The legacy of white supremacy, of perpetuating negative stereotypes for black and brown bodies.
When you make people pay money to get IDs, a lot of times people won't vote. They won't think it's worth it. They don't have the extra money to spend.
I think anybody saying that is just dumb. We're in a country where all of us are majority educated and we have the resources at our hands and our disposal to easily find these things.
Can you imagine? They convinced that kid. They convinced that kid that voter ID is racist.
Well, let's be honest. It didn't take much to convince that kid, because I mean,
you're right.
Yeah, they're just regurgitating stuff that they.
But it
They just
also
clip a
doesn't
dog
take.
leash onto that nose thing, just drag him around.
That's true. We got young people who are in high school, college, working age. They don't believe that an ID should be required to vote. The craziest thing I saw yesterday was Jen Wu. I think he's a representative, congressional representative. He detailed how fractured the individuals' groups are, not just in the Democratic Party, but in the country as a whole. Meaning, you got whites over here, you got Asians over here, you got blacks over here, you got LGBTQ over here. And they're so fractioned. He said, we're the minority, and I'm going to play this video. He said, we're the minority. We have the power as the minority to overthrow white people. And I said, damn, did he just say that shit? He got the power to overthrow white people? Now, if you don't know who Jen Wu is, he is a Chinese-born national who his parents immigrated to the U.S. In addition to that, he was educated here. And it rocked my mind because the first thing when I looked at him, the first thing I thought is, isn't every Chinese national required to spy for China? Now, you're going to look at that and people say, hey, Leon, you're being racist. I'm telling you what the Chinese government says. Now, if they're fighting against it and they don't ignoring them, that's great. That's all powerful. But whether you live in China or you're out of China, that is the requirement. Just like China is required for is a requirement for every person to serve in the Chinese military. There is a requirement for every Chinese national to spy. Unlike in the U.S., if you went to China or went to another country, they would ask you, well, they'd probably, approach you. Hey, you want to spy for the country? You think you should spy for us? No, you get a choice. China, you don't get a choice. If anything, if your family, you migrate here and your family is still there and you say no, something may happen to them, something may not. You say we're crazy when we talk like this. I tell you, this is the reality of the world that we live in. It's not. We're not living in a place right now where it's la-di-da-di, laissez-faire. It's not. We're living in a place right now. Yes, they're required to. They're required. So, when I saw this, I saw two things taking place. First, I saw of course, Democrats running to jump on top of this. I saw Republicans who, I guess they wanted brownie points. They were running to jump on top of this also. Oh, yes, this is the most racist thing that we've seen since from the White House and the racist. And he asked Trump, and Trump said, no, I'm not going to apologize. I don't believe Trump should apologize. Yeah, and I know this is going to make some of y'all pissed off. I don't believe Trump should apologize. There's multiple reasons why. One of the main points is he didn't create it. Somebody else created it. It was tied on the back of a clip. No. Does the person who created who tied that meme to the back of it, do they need to be fired? Yeah, they need to be fired. They do. I personally believe they did because it's a distraction. It was a distraction from the overall image. But you know what's worse about this? The worst portion of it, like the downright nasty portion of it, is that every time we see something come from Trump and it doesn't fit the narrative that African Americans, Black Americans want, they call him racist. And they get offended. They get appalled. They get all in their, you guys get all in your emotion. Do you know that you're made in the image and likeness of God? You're a reflection of the Most High God. God clearly tells us in Scripture, multiple places, that we should be concerned with what he has to say, not what man has to say. So let's say Donald Trump was right 100%. Let's say he did it. It was a racist thing. He acted, and I'm going to play the devil's advocate with this. He acted as a racist and he did a racist thing. I sit back and I wonder, why would you do something like that? And you are literally in the year of the midterm elections. Why is that important? Because in the midterm elections, guess what? That's going to determine where the power shifts. If he can get everything done that he needs to get done with ICE, if the deportations even continue, if ICE even continues getting funded, this midterm election is going to determine a bunch of things. After the midterm election, Donald Trump will be considered a lame duck president. That means he has influence in the party. He can say things. He's probably going to be one of the most powerful lame duck presidents, no lie. He still has influence in the party and still will. But as a lame duck president, you can't get but so much done. So why would you throw away this midterm election by doing something like that? Something that's stupid. Something that will piss off the people that you need to vote for you, or you would want to convert to your place. Local politics Democrats have been historically known for being more stronger in in urban areas in local politics. And you get people like Tim Scott, like, come on, God, come on, bro. Come on. Why is it that black people like to believe what other people say about them and not what God, who designed them, said? Why? Why is it easy to get offended by what this video says and calls you monkey? I don't consider myself a monkey. When I look at it, I laugh. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was so freaking funny. I thought it was so funny. I thought it was so bananas. Hold on, play this. Play it. I took the video, the audio out of it because they copyright. You got Obama, you got Michelle, you got Hillary. I still say that's a Lima, right? Hakeem Jeffries, AOC. And this is the most peculiar part to me when it comes up to this part right here. You got Joe Biden here as an ape, or either a chimpanzee or a monkey, or one of them you call it. But that's him. That's Joe. That's Sleepy Joe right there. That's Sleepy Joe. And you got Kamala down there as a turtle because she's slow. Why is it that the white men aren't offended? Because they know they ain't no monkeys. I haven't seen one white guy offended by Joe Biden in here. I've seen more white people offended by this being related to Barack Obama, more liberal white people, and getting upset. Yeah, man, we've got to stop this hatred. We got to stop all of this. Damn, where were you when Trump was getting memes of himself passed around on the net? And there's still a bunch of Trump memes out there. The red man, what is it? The orange man quote, the orange man meme. I've seen it. So I'm trying to figure, where was the righteous indignation there? We need to be treating people with respect and love. Nobody said anything like that. The hate that was in there and the hate that's in there, nobody said it. But to me, this is less about Trump. It's less about the monkey, and it's more about you. It's more about the individuals who watch it. It's more about the perception that they have of themselves. Why? Because wrong perceptions of yourself determine how far you go in life. I've always believed that the reason the black culture suffers is because they find more strength in wrong depictions of their identity. They believe more in the slavery depiction to say, hey, yeah, slaves. You try to treat us as slaves. They believe more in, oh, he's a racist. He doesn't like this. First, let's even step back. Where do we even care if somebody fucking likes you? How the hell do you care if somebody fucking likes you? If you had somebody down the street and they didn't like you and they said, I ain't like that dude, you're going to base your whole life on how they feel about you? Your emotions are going to get into that place. You're going to jump into people's memes. I saw this little booty scratcher in one of my posts on Facebook. This booty scratcher. He gets upset. See, what do you got to say now? What do you got to say now? Donald Trump, what do you got to say about Trump now? What do you have to say about Trump? Listen, you're more emotional by what other people say. You're emotional about that? Like, that's the extent. See, you're emotional like that. And I tell people because you don't know who you are. Because you base everything off of your physical, your ethnic identity. And you don't even consider spiritually who you are. You don't even consider your heavenly Father. See, when I tell these people that they're hypocrites, when I tell them they don't know God, they look at me like I'm crazy and I'm stupid. They say, no, you don't know God. I'm not offended by what anybody would say about me, whether intentional or unintentional. God, what he calls me is all that matters. Not what you call me, not what you think about me, not how you feel about me, not if you like me, if you don't like me. From this, the lesson should be is how do you see yourself? Because with AI, with media, with all these different things around, all these things want to come in and control your perspective on yourself. We need you to feel like a victim. We need you to think you're a victim. We need you to act like a victim. We need you to stand up. See, when you're doing that and you're slowly going into your ethnic victimhood, being a booty scratcher, because you're typically smelling your booty. You're smelling yourself. You think that you're smelling yourself. They smell themselves. That's it. They smelling themselves. But no, we're going to ignore right here that this white guy is a freaking monkey. We're going to ignore right here that this black dude who could have easily been portrayed as another monkey because we're doing monkey racist stuff, right? Why not make him a monkey? He a lemur or some type of rodent. Why not make him a monkey? They can't answer that. All they know is Barack Obama, the guy who never did anything for him, the guy who never passed any laws that affect the black community or brought the black community out. He didn't overturn the Biden crime bill. He didn't make it where black people got reparations from the federal government. No, he played in the party lines. He did I don't like that. While simultaneously shipping these same people that you're fighting ICE over out of the country. See, when I say the Democrats flew in their votes, they also allow their votes to escape over the border. You say I'm crazy. People think I'm crazy. Look, they don't want. There's going to be a phase as you bring in minorities, not minorities, but yeah, immigrant minorities, people from different countries. Yeah, as you bring them in, illegal immigrants. There's the phase of, oh, we recognize that all you guys are American. That's exactly what John Woo said. You guys are all American, whether representative out of Congress. You guys are all American. Even if you're an illegal immigrant, you're still an American. And I thought this was logical. I thought this was so hilarious. I was like, the heck? And I know people, you're going to get a bunch of people that dislike this. Because I'm not here for Donald Trump. Look at that. The king of the jungle. Why? Because politics is a jungle. And I keep saying that politics is nasty. It is grimy. It is so terrible. To go into politics and say, I'm going to put all my money to change. You better know that you called to go into that space. You better know what you call. But now we can't even talk about certain things.
So if President Trump gets his way, people wanting to vote in the United States in federal elections would be required to provide proof of citizenship. Now, it's something the president talked about on network TV. He calls it the Save America Act. So let's break it down and see what it means. CBS News senior White House correspondent Weijia Jiang joining us live from Washington, D.C. Good to see you on a Monday or any day, Weijia. So Democrats warn that this could disenfranchise millions of eligible voters. Why is this top of mind for the president now?
Well, I would say that this has been top of mind for the president for years, Reed. And, you know,
how can voter identification disparage like a ton of qualified voters? If they're qualified, that means they do have an ID, that their ID is legitimate, and they can make their way to the polls. Now, we know they can get to the polls because we've seen already Stacey Abrams in Georgia and some of the other ones do the whole bus rides and bussing people in and all of that stuff, giving them food until they told them to stop giving them water in the voting lines.
he has talked extensively about the need to secure elections after he lost in 2020, the presidential election. In fact, that is precisely why we are talking about the SAVE Act now. You may recall a few days ago, the president said that he wanted to nationalize elections. And it's notable that his administration officials brought up the SAVE Act as an explanation for what he meant. But for several times he spoke in public, Reed, the president himself did not mention the SAVE Act. He said that, you know, he wanted states to conduct elections as specified in the Constitution, but pointed out if they were not able to do that fairly, that the federal government should take that over. So now he has started to talk about the SAVE Act, which would essentially make it more difficult, more cumbersome, according to Democrats, to go and vote. So a driver's license, as an example, would not be enough. You would have to provide proof of U.S. citizenship. The states would have to tweak their laws. And Democrats say that this would be intimidating to people who may normally vote. And that is
showing that you are legally in this country makes it more cumbersome to vote. The reason why we got to do that is because these people have already given away FHA loans to people that don't even believe, that's not even from this country, and don't even require verification, not of identification, but that they're from this country, to get these FHA loans, these government funded programs that your tax dollar pays for. Now, you get a lot of white liberals and some of you boys out there, some of you guys, you're like, oh, we don't care about that. You don't care about that because you complain about the same big business billionaires. You complain about these guys squeezing the middleman, manipulating the system. And you totally forget about the government that you're trying to, that you're sitting here, this same government is giving away your tax money that is squeezed you from to illegal immigrants. No problem there. No issue there. No conversation. These are our brothers from other countries. Y'all need to wake the hell up. Y'all need to stop being stupid, man. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, your identity is so much at play right now, is more than you think. Your identity is the reason why you either make it or you fall. People hate Trump, but I tell you, Trump, I keep saying Trump is not racist. He's an elitist. He knows that in certain areas he's more superior than others, even more than some of these politicians. A lot of these politicians. Think of it. How many times do we get a president that actually was an entertainer, an entertainer actor, right? On the political side and then the business side. How often do we get people in office that actually built something? Trump is a lot of things. I don't disagree. Trump can speak sometimes before he's even supposed to speak. His mind, sometimes he just says he just says it too fast. He just says it too much. He just goes in on it. And then I had to sit back the other day and realize, I said, damn, if they tried to assassinate me and take me out, hell, I would be on y'all. I would be riding the heck of you. Not one assassination, 2, 3. Oh, shoot. After the first time, I know God got me. I knew he had it before, but after the first time, I know he got me. What do you think about the second or third time? I'd be holding my fists up too. And you let this system brainwash you, where you're so emotional, your emotional IQ, these people emotional IQ are so low. Your emotional IQ doesn't even level up. I will continuously say it, and I'll say it over and over and over again. This is all a battle for your identity. You can't do anything with any level of significance or have any level of impact if you think the way everybody thinks and you embrace the identity that they gave you and not the identity that God gave you. But when you tell these people spiritually blinded, being spiritually ignorant, they don't see it. That's not it. They'll listen to the media, give them and feed them a narrative that doesn't even fit the situation. Not one bit.
I want to see elections be honest. And if a state can't run an election, I think the people behind me should do something about it. Because, you know, if you think about it, a state is an agent for the federal government in elections. I don't know why the federal government doesn't do them anyway. But when you see some of these states about how horribly they run their elections, what a disgrace it is, I think the federal government, when you see crooked elections, and we had plenty of them, and by the way, we had them last time, but go to 2020 and look at the facts that are coming out. Rigged, crooked elections. If we have areas, take a look at Detroit, take a look at Pennsylvania, take a look at Philadelphia. You go take a look at Atlanta. Look at some of the places that horrible corruption on elections. And the federal government should not allow that. The federal government should get involved. These are agents of the federal government to count the votes. If they can't count the votes legally and honestly, then somebody else should take over.
That takes the money away, the power and control away from the local municipalities, which they've campaigned heavily on a local level from the grassroots up. The perception is that if we give it to the federal government, they won't manage it correctly and we'll have more fraud. So now the battle's on. They don't talk about this whole thing with voter ID. No conversation from these people on how their party and all of this is selling out the country. It's all about identification. It's all about identifying with us. It's all about the go along, to get along gang. If you not with us, then yeah, you must be a racist. You must be a coon. You must be an Uncle Tom. We can't think for ourselves. We're supposed to think what you guys want, how they want you to think. I'm supposed to be lining up with the perception of what they want me to line up as. You're a black guy. Why would you even think like this? You're a black guy. Why would you even want to do you understand that this is an attack against your ethnicity? Do you understand that they trying to take you out of Africa and send you back? They try to take you out of America and send you back to Africa. All these different things. And what's sad is our children are sitting back watching this and they're getting them polarized and involved in these situations. Nobody's talking anymore about voter ID. Voter ID, I'm going to tell you, it's so crazy how these people are thinking. Nobody's even considering that the same issues that we're having with housing, we're starting to see people that are self-deportating, going through foreclosure, easing up the restrictions, or I would say the lack of inventory. I did a video on that too. Go check my video. We went through it and showed houses in Texas where people self-deported and they left. And because they self-deported, guess what? The house is eventually going to be foreclosed, put it out there. Somebody who is an American citizen, someone who pays taxes in this country, someone that can verify who they are is going to buy that house. FHA, as of May 2025, took away that power took away that power, that ability for people that aren't from this country to buy and own land here. Well, using FHA guidelines, I think they need to remove it, period. I think they need to get rid of it. If you're not a national, if you're not a citizen of the U.S., if you don't have some type of green card, well, I can't even do the green card thing too. I don't believe, I believe it really should be citizens of the US. Why? Because you pay the taxes. You don't realize somebody with a green card can buy something here and just flip out and just, I'm going back home. Steal the money, steal the shit, they just fly back. Their country will take them. Because they're still a citizen there. But you get these booty scratchers that they don't understand that their demise is being engineered by the same party that they're defending or that they're on the side of. They won't talk about this. They will still say, you are backing a racist, you're backing a coon, you need to get him out. He's a racist, he hates black. Despite of the fact before 2016, this joker been all over with Jesse Jackson and all these other people in videos, rappers in videos. But now when he gets into office, even though he's been saying the exact same thing from the 80s, I think we need to tax those other countries. They need to pay their fair share. And he's been saying all of that. He's got Oprah. They got Oprah videos of it. But the hate that comes from so much insecurity and inferiority, so much lack of confidence and presence in who you are, who God created you, so much where you do not even recognize the God of heaven and earth who created you marvelously, who made you beautiful, who gave you gifts and talents and ability. You don't see that stuff. You rather listen to somebody tell you that, you're a monkey. I've never considered myself to be a monkey. I don't see myself as that. Y'all like, oh, well, that's good. You don't see yourself like that, but he does. Do I care? Do I care? So we're now supposed to be we're supposed to care more about what people think about us than what God thinks about us? Does his opinion even matter anymore now? And when you tell people and you tell people and you tell people you're a coon, you're Uncle Tom, you're this, you're that, you don't know what I'm talking about. Your victimhood, your hurt, your pain, all that hurt from that boss that rejected you, all that hurt because the white man won't play to you, all that hurt. And then you get these white liberals, these white people that are out here too that support that narrative. I saw them also on my Facebook. I saw them also in the chats. Supporting, oh yeah, I knew he was a racist. When I tell you that God is calling us out into higher levels, people think I'm crazy. Y'all want to ignore me? Y'all want to act like it's not there? But this is the thing about this situation. Your life is a certain way, and people's lives, some people are just full of depression. They have no joy, none at all. And they wonder why they're in this place of depression, no joy, feeling so grimy. You wake up in the morning, you're the same thing you were yesterday. You wake up the next day, you're the same thing. Life just goes on. And don't let something bad happen. You're panicking. Oh my God, what do we do? When God has already told you, come to me, all you who are burdened and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon me. Learn of me. Why do you need to learn of him? Because he is an example of you. He's a reflection of who you are. You're a reflection of who he is. You're one with him. See, I hate this crap when I see these black people go to church on Sunday morning and they have they say all these different catchphrases. Oh, I'm seated with God in heavenly places. Oh yeah, he loves me. Oh, yeah. And they run around the church and then they come out. They don't know nothing, don't make no change, got no results, don't have a relationship with him.
To the latest fallout after President Trump shared a racist video on his social media platform. The president, who spoke about his latest actions last night, refused to apologize despite sparking widespread outrage and condemnation. CBS's Willie James Enman reports tonight from West Palm Beach, Florida, near the president's home. Willie James.
Jerika, good evening to you. Republican lawmakers offered a rare rebuke of President Trump after he reposted a racist meme of President Obama and Michelle Obama depicted as apes.
No, I didn't make a mistake.
Aboard Air Force One, the president says he won't apologize for posting a video which included racist imagery of the former president and first lady.
I didn't see the whole thing. I am, by the way, the least racist president you've had in a long time.
Initially, the White House defended the president's post, but later backtracked, deleting it 12 hours later, blaming the post on an unnamed staffer. Lawmaker condemnation.
See, when he says he's the least racist president that we've ever had, nobody had this outrage when it came to Joe Biden. When it came to Joe Biden being in office and having the opportunity to repeal this criminal law that he put into place in the 80s that he voted for, he did not do it. But y'all jokers still voted for him. They still lined up and they went down to vote for the white dude that rolled out the crime bill that put most of their family or put people that they knew in jail for minor acts.
Congratulations. Well done.
And then you get the weirdos. You get the booty scratchers, the weirdos. We're not mad at white people. We're not mad at them. Look, the booty scratcher said, Jesus didn't just preach trust God. Damn, Jesus preached just trust God. That's the core of it. Trust him in what he says about you. Trust him in what he's done for you. Trust him in where he's taking you. Trust him in his destiny. Damn, it's all about trusting God. See, you want to go out and you want to say, well, God said, defend the poor. You can't defend no poor. You can't defend nobody if you don't know who you are. And the only way you know who you are is to trust him. The only way you know who you are is to fellowship with him and to trust him. Because in there, the insecurity, the inferiority, all of that stuff is removed. It's pulled out, like it's executed. Y'all clowns. Y'all clowns, y'all clowns. To the point that even some of our favorite influencers will say, I don't believe he should apologize. And I like Anton Daniel, don't get it twisted, but I don't agree. I don't agree. And I'll never agree, because as long as, let's look at this clip. Let's look at this clip right here. I'm going to play this clip. Here is what's taking place in the city of Chicago, and you guys are not outraged of it. There's no outrage in it. There's no marches for this. There's nothing like that. That's Trump's the reason why that's happening. Did you see what happened? You saw how they rolled up on that car? Who was in that car? There's no outrage for this. There's no outrage, because this is real outrage. The rest of that is all perpetrated. Oh, look, nobody's outrageous. Nobody's mad at this.
Multiple shooters who fired dozens of shots, perhaps more than 50. Remarkably, all of those bullets missed a baby who was sitting in the car that was targeted.
Investigators remained at the scene well after nightfall at this corner littered with shell casings, where somehow a baby in this bullet-riddled car emerged unscathed.
What's the purpose of shooting at a car when you know there's a child in the car? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it could be a lot of other people who's lost their life here today.
Kirk Bell is the godfather of 26-year-old Gabrielle Ayers, who relatives identify as the woman who was shot and killed in her white Chevy sedan around 1:30 p.m. at 79th and May Street. Her car then crashing into a van.
This here is unbelievable. This young lady was a beautiful young lady with a beautiful child, and life just cut short. For what?
Ayers' boyfriend in the car also shot multiple times, but her 13-month-old baby daughter, who was sitting in the back, escaped unhurt.
It's a miracle that that baby was not shot. It's a miracle.
St. Sabina Church is around the block from where the gunfire erupted, and the church's food pantry is on that corner. People
see, you don't see any protest out here. You don't see anybody out here protesting the violence. They've had protests in Chicago about violence, but you don't see any coverage. None of the booty scratchers who want to jump on your texts and jump in your messages and your posts and troll, none of them are talking about this. They're just talking about the pain that they feel just being victimized by Trump. He victimized us, our image. He victimized our king and queen Obama. But they're not even thinking about this lady. They're not even thinking about this girl. This is not even a conversational piece. The same leaders who show up at Trump Plaza in Chicago and say our taxes are high and our taxes are wild. It's Donald Trump's fault. Nigga, how is it Donald Trump's fault for property taxes that being raised by the mayor you put into place? You voted him in. Trump determines the taxes. These are how stupid these people are. These are how dumb they are. These are how ignorant. This is how blinded they are. Blinded.
Inside, hiding in a back room, and after the gunfire, emerged to help the victims.
So they saw, the young man and the woman shot up in the car as they were trying to get the baby out. But they gave the baby immediately to the police, and the policewoman took it in her car and was holding it.
They need to clean this city up. They need to. This gangs and the shooting and the killing is just unbelievable.
Gabrielle Ayers' mother tells me her daughter worked as a hairstylist and was training to be a letter carrier. Police have not offered a motive for the shooting.
Yeah. Don't worry. This is one of those crimes in Chicago that nobody's ever going to really figure out. They may get close to it, but they'll never really. And that's a sad thing. And I don't say that I hope that they do. I hope that they find these guys and they drag them out, because some babies growing up without a mother, and I'm pretty sure they didn't have a father, or they were starting to grow up without one, or had some challenges in that spot. And it's common because people like me, men like me, we try to teach and we reach these people. When we see these boys, we have to stop and say, hey, have some type of conversation, some type of exchange. But this is not an important thing for the ones who are already, they're upset. They've got that inclination. Oh, Jesus wouldn't let that. I keep telling you, these people don't know Jesus. None of them know Jesus to tell me what Jesus would like and Jesus wouldn't like. They don't know Jesus. Because if they knew Jesus, they would tell you that Jesus is a reflection of you and you're a reflection of him, and you don't have to do nothing but accept what he's done for you. And then your life begins to change. Yes, I said it. This is not hocus pocus, not magic. You go through stuff. Yes, you do. But as you go through it, the Father walks with you through it. They don't know Jesus. They're just clowns. Just clowns. Just clowns using his name. That's it. False prophets using his name. But then we get this that happens. And it's a sad situation. A baby lost a mother, and I pray that the baby still has the father. I pray for it. I pray for it. But when you tell them this, it's always a fight. It's a war. It's and you know what it is? I know what it is. I mean, they're trained. It's a war over power. It's a war for control. They believe that removing Donald Trump from office will answer all of their problems. When in fact, the reality of it is, all it does is now lead you to go upon following those Democrat leaders that already have plans set out for you, your children, and your future. Part of that plan is like in Minnesota, we're going to set up a honey hole. We're going to rob the federal government. We're going to get rich, or we're going to die trying. And if they try to come and get us, we're going to turn around and we're going to call them racist, and we're going to hide it, and we're going to keep it. Oh, no. This is all about money, and it's all about power. It's always been about money and power. See, down to the smallest point, this is the reason I can talk about this. Even in real estate, you can't dominate in this space unless you have some sense of who you are. Because I've seen people who make a ton of money and they don't know who the heck they are, and they lose it, or they strive and they struggle throughout the whole process. But yeah, it happens. What we're dealing with is a different type of battle. And those who have ears to hear, hear. Those who don't have ears to hear, they not going to hear. Y'all not going. Some people going to get this. Some people ain't going to get it. And I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Because the clowns that call themselves representing Jesus, we know where they stand. We know where they stand. We can talk. We hear from the words that come out their mouth who they are. Who they are. They want to preach the love of God, but they don't preach the very first thing, which is relationship. You can't have relationship without, you can't have love without relationship. You can't have fruit unless you actually know the fruit, the root. This psyop on our brains through propaganda and media, it's a real thing, and it's consistently coming, regardless if we believe it or not.
America is being torn apart, not by foreign enemies, not by open invasion, but by something far more subtle and far more dangerous: ignorance weaponized as virtue. Every week, crowds gather in American cities chanting slogans, waving signs.
Virtue signaling. These are the ones that tell you, oh, y'all believe in Jesus. Jesus wouldn't do that. You ask them jokers when the last time they talked to him. Birds, chirp, chirp, chirp.
And denouncing immigrant enforcement agencies as evil, fascist, or criminal. They believe they are standing on the moral high ground. They believe they are defending the oppressed. They believe they are resisting tyranny. What most of them do not understand is that they are not resisting anything at all. They are being used by media narratives that thrive on outrage, used by political operatives who monetize emotion, used by NGOs that profit from chaos, and most disturbingly of all, used by international criminal organizations, including some of the most violent cartels on earth. This is the modern reality of asymmetric warfare in the 21st century. The battlefield is not land. The weapon is not guns. The target is not soldiers. The battlefield is public perception. The weapon is narrative. And the target is you.
I'll take it deeper. The battlefield is actually the mind. The weapon is the narratives and the words or suggestions that are spoken. The victim or the target is you. And it goes past that. It's your children. It's your children. It's our children, because when our children go out into this world, they're met with at school by teachers and other kids that enforce, in some cases, things that we don't believe in our home. They teach our children, or they inspire them to do certain things or not do certain things, to look at things in a certain perspective. Now, the challenge with that, the biggest challenge is it's not free thinking. It's not. They say when you go to college, this is free thought. We're here because you're supposed to learn how to think freely, move theory. That's a lie. That's the deception. It's not. It's not. It is actually a carefully crafted way to take you from being a freshman to being a senior that graduates, and to implant with you in that 4 years a very liberal mind that says that, oh, we need to share with everybody. We're responsible for sharing with everybody. Listen, I'm a giver and I'm a believer. I give to people. I believe in helping people when they're in need. But damn, I'm going to tell you something. I would protect. I'm more for my country than I am for another country. Put it like that. I think that's the best way to put it. And that's probably one of the ways to put it. I don't care. People who come to this country have to provide value. They have to. And if there was no due process coming in, there can't be due process going out. But they don't believe that. No. I look at some of them and I laugh. It's very interesting to me. It's funny. It's funny in a lot of cases because they too smart for their own good. They too smart. They go to school and they get all these great degrees. Some diseases. Some of them got diseases in college too. Bang, free love.
The smarter you get, it seems the dumber you get. The smarter our intellectuals become, the more cowardly they become. This has something to do with this colonial education we're getting, because I know some great black minds. You know, I'm in the university system. I see these minds. I talk. People, great minds. But that paycheck is going to dictate what's going to come out mind. I'll come out your mouth of that mind.
And that paycheck is based off of that other piece of paper that they got to affirm their paycheck.
I got master's degree.
So therefore I get paid more.
I get paid more.
Therefore I'm controlled by your system.
Let me I know the truth, but let me not speak it right now.
Nah, because I can't. I got to feed my family.
Right. Now, feeding your family is way more important than speaking the truth to a people that's going to treat you like they did Dr. King. If there was a reward to speaking truth, more people would. The true human resource is the mind. We never lost our lands. We lost our minds.
That's why I say the battlefield is for your mind. The battlefield is not for the land. This is not a push for slavery. See, you don't have to go into slavery, bro. Y'all got to stop this slavery talk. Y'all ain't got to go into slavery. You know why? All they got to do is get you hooked on the right TV shows, get you hooked on the right media propaganda, get you hooked, and they got your mind. All they got to do is turn you into someone that's dependent on a system, or you're vengeful, or you hate what's taking place. And so now, forget where I live. Forget the country. This place is evil. Niggas, y'all never knew anywhere outside of this place. That's the problem. Y'all never seen anywhere. You never been overseas. You never see poor infrastructure. You never seen the lack of water in Ghana, the lack of water in West Africa, the purity of the water, that where it's filtered and you can drink it and it actually takes care of your skin. No, you don't do that. You don't do that. You don't see that. I can clearly tell when I meet Africans from West Africa that grew up here, and then the ones that grew up over there, same family, damn. Pigmentation, skin different. Good water, good filtration system. The foreign companies and the foreign entities that want this country to fall outweighs the amount of people that's fighting for it right now. That's it. Because there's a belief implanted in the majority, I'm going to say majority, on the left, that this country is wrong, that it's evil, that it shouldn't exist, that it needs to be changed. And it's crazy, the same people that are wielding this type of narrative in this rainbow coalition, they're people that they're not concerned with the image of God. They're not concerned with godly things. They don't even believe in God. They don't have no concept of building anything on on that ground. They don't believe that. They don't believe it at all. And when we talk about it, when we constantly say it, oh, you're Nazis. You're coons. Yo, it blows my mind. But if I don't talk about it, if people like me don't continuously tell you that this is a battle for your image, this is a battle to control your mind. This has less to do with Donald Trump. This has nothing at all to do with some of this other stuff you're screaming about, racism and all that. They don't need to be, a racist, if a billionaire wanted to be racist towards you, they don't have to be racist towards you and call your color out. They can literally just charge you more for products and say it, oh, well, you can't get that because you are, because you're black, because you live in this area, redlining, you live in this area. And so because you live in this area, we don't think you're competent enough to actually balance your budget and pay your bills. So we're not going to sell you that house. We're not going to give you the loan for it. Or we're not going to give you what you need to build that new business. It's always been about money. Even capitalism even slavery has been about money. It started about money. It wasn't about your color and that African. You're half of the human. No, it was the Negroes over in the Muslim ones that came into Africa and started to slowly push a narrative out. So I'm happy that these conversations are taking place. And I love seeing these people spaz out. I love to see y'all spaz out. I love to see them lefties spaz out. I love to see it. I love to.
Guys, so the illegal migrants have been...
Hold on. Before I even get into this, let's go to this other one first. I want to do this one. First. Do this. Because this is not just a battle when it comes to... Well, it's not just a battle. I mean, the battle's already been won. But it's already going to the kids. It's already going to them. The kids are already in this place now where they're already brainwashed to believe that ICE are Nazis, that they're fighting a fascist government. Let me even get deeper with you. That fascist government needs to go. So what are you left with when you have a government that you say is fascist and the other one that you say is not fascist? You got a two-headed beast. And I keep telling y'all, this is a two-headed beast. This is not a beast where the Republican Party and the Democratic Party are separate. They all, imagine a dragon with two heads. Sometimes the Republican Party is on top. Sometimes the Democratic Party's on top. But if you can't see through the propaganda, you will not be able to see what's coming down the line because it's still designed to use you. And as a conservative, I'm telling you this because we have hypocrites in the Republican Party also. We got people that will sell out and have sold out the country in the same Republican Party.
Protests over these immigration enforcement raids are spreading nationwide. Now they're hitting schools and affecting a lot of students right here in central Indiana.
A lot of students are choosing to walk out of multiple schools across Indianapolis, and we're seeing even more demonstrations that are planned in the days ahead. Marina Silva is in studio this morning. What's the message that the students and adults want to share this morning, Marina?
Well, most aren't old enough to vote, but they say they can't stay silent. More than 400 students walked out of North Central High School yesterday, and it's all to protest ICE policies and its presence across the country. North Central students walked west on 86th Street to Westfield Boulevard, and at one point, students blocked the intersection. IMPD showed up as well to assist with crowd control.
I think when young people speak out, it's very impactful because we have a bigger voice than some of the other people. We are speaking out for people who do not have a voice to speak out.
Washington Township Metropolitan School District did give us a statement saying they knew this was happening, adding, leaving campus during school hours without proper authorization is not permitted under school policy. If parents want their students to leave school, please follow the standard sign-out process through our attendance office. Students who leave class or campus without permission will be subject to the consequences outlined in our code of conduct. Now, we do know more protests are planned for today, with some that are in support of the current administration's immigration policies. That's something we're continuing to watch for and we'll follow up on throughout the day.
And often sometimes when we see students choose to go down to the State House.
Students should not be able to choose to leave school. The idea and the concept of being in school and your parents pay for you to actually be there. Yeah, the tax bill, whether they have a house in a district, rent in a district, it doesn't matter. These students shouldn't be. But because now this whole thing is now going into elementary and high school, like middle schools and high school, you're getting students out there doing this. For ICE. For ICE. Stop ICE. They want to stop ICE. And the crazy, insane part about this is that child trafficking is a lot more prevalent when you have people that you can't keep up with. And child trafficking, I'm in Georgia, child trafficking, Georgia is probably one of the hubs for child trafficking. Probably one of the hubs. I would say probably in the Southeast is probably one of the biggest hubs, or if not the biggest hub for child trafficking. And it's been proven and said that's a cartel thing now, big time. They traffic them into the country and traffic them out of the country. But nobody wants to listen. They don't want to listen to you. They don't want to listen to you. They don't want to have that conversation in no way, shape, or form.
Jathan. Welcome to my I see you, Freddie. I see you. Hey, get out of the fucking road.
They're middle schoolers, so be kind to them as they drive by. So the middle schoolers are supposed to be able to protest. Middle schoolers. They have no idea what, why, and what's taking place. They don't have it. They can't grasp. Their mind can't wrap around these issues that's taking place right now. How do you now tell someone who broke into this country that they need to stay, because if you send them back to their country, that's going to be fraudulent and that's wrong, because now they can get killed and things like that can happen, but you don't do a background check on them. You don't know who they are. You just accept it. This is where people go to change their lives, and possibly in the course of changing their life, they may fall back into some bad habits of murdering, killing, doing some other stuff, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter at all, because, of course, they're immigrants. The difference between an immigrant and an illegal immigrant is an immigrant took the right way to get in. They went through the process. They got a green card. They may have a work permit, a work visa. I'm all for that. Come in. Understand the country, grow, get your citizenship. It's a lot of immigrants that have gone that route. I'm an immigrant, and I'm telling you that. 2 years old. I'm telling you that. I chose, because I love the country, to go serve. And there are a lot of other immigrants that have done that too, who got their citizenship nationalized here. And when you do this and you present this false virtue signaling type of emotional, whatever you call it, I look at y'all and I laugh. I look at them and I laugh, because the shit that motherfuckers pay to actually be here, the price that we paid to actually get here, they spitting on it. They spitting on it. They're spitting on it and saying that everybody who broke in is an American, and you have the right to stay here. And this is what you have.
I feel bad for my sister, cause we ain't had much at all. See my thoughts with her.
I don't want copyright issues with none of that stuff.
Am I the only one bothered that these children are getting involved in this political war that's going on? Who decided that it was a good idea for these children to be leaving school in the middle of the day, where they are supposed to be safe, to go out and protest? As an adult, as a mother, as a sane individual, I feel like it is the parent or the guardian's decision to allow or permit for a child to leave school in the middle of the day to participate in these acts. We all know that these children have not fully grasped the concept of politics. They don't fully understand what's going on. All they hear is, we're cutting school to do a protest. Translates into, we're ditching school to have fun. I saw a disturbing post of a group of children who call themselves walking out of school to peacefully protest. And while doing so, they took laptops and glass bottles and other objects and threw them into the crowd.
Yeah.
I saw another post where a group of kids who had left school to peacefully protest were stealing from the store. Of course, those videos were removed. However, I got a good one for you. What purpose did it serve them to attack this old man, to dig in his pockets, to play in his face? This was disgusting, disturbing, and extremely disrespectful.
At that age, they have the same maturity of these guys that are out there in Minnesota destroying cars, destroying windows, protesting ICE. It looks just like them. It's just elementary school students all grown up now, but with the same elementary school minds.
My son just called and said that his school just brought him to a protest. So he's currently at a protest. I'm fitting to go race.
His father has a child in Cascade Middle School in the state of Washington, and the city is White Center. His son said that he didn't want to do it. I don't know if that meant that he went kicking and screaming or something, or he was just kind of pressured or coerced into it. But what's important is the school didn't ask for permission before they decided to have these kids participate in a protest. And they didn't just do it at the school. They walked around in the neighborhoods around the school, and the father thinks it's a bad area, bad neighborhood. They said that they had security there protecting the students, but again, the school didn't ask for permission. They sent him an email talking about what they did. Parents expect when their children go to school, and this is a middle school, not a high school, that no one is going to be able to take their children out of school besides a designated guardian. They expect that their children are going to be on the premises until they pick them up or they ride the bus home. Now, if this were me, I'd be absolutely livid because I despise when these different school administrators and teachers have the audacity to overstep their boundaries.
And that's what I see, because it's public school, right? You're handing your children over to the to the system. Wow. No Donald Trump. Video circulating online claims to show Boston area classroom teachers teaching young kids to protest Trump in ICE. Man, these people are horrible, yo. They don't know God at all. They have no concept of who God is. And what's crazy is, in the course of all of this, I see it already clearly. It's very interesting. The same jokers that got y'all is going to play the hell out of y'all. The same ones. Over time, the Black American vote will become less and less needed because you will always have a huge Hispanic population is growing. And I really want them to be legally here. But we do see already that there's a huge amount that aren't legal. And it's a slap in the face of the ones that are legal, that did go through the process, but you got a bunch of stowaways in here. So when they replace the Black vote with those other minority groups, you see how New York is already flipping. You see already Minnesota's that's already been flipped. You're going to wonder what you taught your kids. They know that that to win this war, you got to go to the kids. Yeah, we about to get unpopular right now.
He's the principal. He has a valid reason. He's the principal of the school. Yep, ma'am.
So a student at Lovejoy arrested for asking why her freedom of speech is being restricted. You in school. Like, you got freedoms, but not during this time. Student recording suspended for being a legal observer. So the student that was recording it was suspended for being a legal observer. No, your ass is supposed to be in school.
That's That's what we're fighting for. Let's go to his office. I should be going to class. No. He gave me directions to go to class. Now he's telling you to go to. Stop recording me too. Stop recording me.
It's in my rights.
Okay.
And we have right to protest.
Okay, the protest is over with. Go to class. No.
This is the lawlessness and disrespect that we raising. This is it. This is it. And it's cool. It's cool for people. See, it's cool until they actually come into your house and they tell you they ain't want to do some shit that you tell them to do, and then they got to go back, and then you going to spank them, and then you going to realize that you raised some lawless kids because they didn't quite understand what they were protesting to even begin with. They just thought it was unjust, and they didn't like Donald Trump. So now they don't like Donald Trump. They have a problem with anybody that's put in authority. And if a person becomes president, now that person is more prone to play the political game. That means to actually tell you shit and do something completely different, which they've been doing it for a long period of time. They won't tell you the truth. They won't. Politicians don't get around in telling you the truth. They don't do that. They don't do that. See, that I said that, and I can't never virtue signal for Donald Trump, but I can damn well say, with all the flaws and the challenges that I always see with this dude, at least he say what he got to say. For that reason, I definitely know that this is all coordinated. I know it is. It's always been.
I'm giving you the last opportunity. I'm giving you the last opportunity. Young lady, how old are you? No, she's going to jail.
Yeah, drag her behind out. Take her behind, suspend her behind. Yeah. That's real. That's real. This is your next generation, guys. This is what we're raising. This is what we have raised. This is where things are going to. This is where it's going to. So in the course of all of this thing that's going on right here, you know, the rate for foreclosures are skyrocketing. I mean, it's getting more and more. See, when we should be actually addressing real issues that involve people losing their homes, we're not doing that. We're dealing with ICE. We're dealing with the agenda of these politicians going into the midterm. They have to take the midterm. If they do not take the midterm, they will end up having the next 2 to 3 years being subjected to what Donald Trump says. Some people don't like that. They don't want that. Is it not okay to be able to point out the flaws of Trump, but then also point out the truths that are there also? Because there is the biggest truth, which nobody wants to talk about, is that the votes are coming in. The votes are here. You don't have to have an ID to go ahead and vote. We've seen videos with people who did multiple votes. New York, some of these other states. They brag about it. I voted 3 times for him, or I voted 6 times for that person, because no need for ID. So nobody was thinking and even looking at FHA rules. FHA rules up until May 2025 allowed you to be able to purchase a house, and you did not have to be a citizen of the United States. Now, with someone like me in real estate says, Leon, how is that important to you? Because I'm in real estate and it's all about money, bro. It's all about money. It's all about, they charge you money to get your license. They charge you money to market. They charge you money to wholesale. They charge you money. You got to pay attorneys. You got to pay it's all a money driven business. That's it. So it's not strange for me to see in the laws that you can buy a house without being a citizen of the U.S. See, there was a story that broke out by the New York Post. And it was also, I think even the Wall Street Journal covered this. The vast amount of farmland that was actually owned by a Chinese national. And it was disgusting to me. I hated it. I thought it was so disgusting. Farmland that's necessary to farm, food, raise cattle, in the hands of a foreign entity, a foreign national. in the People's Communist Republic Party's in their party. Nobody says nothing about it. It doesn't mean anything to anyone.
Guys, so the illegal migrants have been using FHA loans to get houses. So now that people are starting to see that that's crazy because they need to go to American citizens, they are purging them from the roster, and there's been a lot of foreclosures anyway, and that's only going to be increasing because of the deportations that have been increasing. So all of that, the housing, the FHA loans, all that stuff is going to go to exactly where it belongs, back to the American citizens. But people have been coming up on my timeline and like talking about how they're being called in to clear out houses that like are no longer getting payments done on them because the people have been deported. And it's just very interesting because all of these people were artificially inflating the market prices for all of these houses, for everything really, groceries, housing, all that stuff. Like, whether you like to admit it or not, be angry all you want, Trump's America First policy, and listen, it's not America only. We're not doing isolationism here, so I don't want to hear that stupid argument. But Trump, in his agenda for America First, is actually going to be working. It's going to be helping the economy. I mean, it's just started, so obviously nothing is tangible now. But in the next coming year, I expect there to be a lot more affordable housing for American citizens. All of the stuff that you guys are complaining about, like, oh my gosh, we're buried under a bunch of debt. In the past, my family used to buy houses. Now I can't buy houses anymore because everything's it's going to come down. Just like I said in my other videos, it's going to have to come down. Supply, demand, it's basic economics, okay? The demand is going to go down, which means and there's a lot of supply, even when it comes to like apartment renting. It's a lot of supply. So get ready to benefit off that opportunity, okay? As American citizens, get ready to jump on it.
Oh yeah, it's coming. It's coming. For copyright issues, I got to pull that out.
What had the buyer backing out?
In the week that we were supposed to close, the buyer got picked up by immigration.
Oh man, that's terrible.
And so, yeah, that killed the whole deal right there.
This is the one listed at $130,000, right?
That is correct.
Got it. And do you know what the seller's underlying interest rate is on the loan if we end up taking it over?
You know what? I believe it's 8.499%.
Ooh, that's above market rates.
Let me confirm that with you. But I remember somebody asked me a similar question, and I believe the seller told me that's not the rate that they got. But let me double check that.
Yeah.
If you are looking to get deals in your area, well, in Georgia, we have a Georgia off-market property list. We take those foreclosures, people that need to sell them really quick, and we put them out there. We drop that list once a week on a Friday. Okay. Information should be in the main description. You can definitely go ahead and follow it. And then also we're going to put something out there too, just to teach the basics of wholesaling. So you guys know what the basics are, because I'm a believer, even in this time right now, this is the perfect time to make extra money, to get extra money, get access to this stuff. Wholesaling has always been around. People just didn't understand what it was. Now you're going to have an influx of foreclosures, people that are facing foreclosures. This is the perfect time to go in and help them and get that asset into the hands of someone that can actually manage it or need it. And you can make some cash in doing it too.
They bought it about a year and a half ago. That would have been when rates were pretty high. I would imagine at least 7.5% on this thing. But honestly, I think I can pull it up right now. It looks like it says 6.84 on my end, and they owe about 114. You think that's right?
That's about right. 114,999, something like that.
Got it. So because the rate's going to be at pretty much exactly where we are on market rates right now, I'll probably stick with my $5K down. I tell you what, I'll up it to $6,000 down, and I'll cover the closing costs, and I can pay your commission on top of that too. So I'll go up to $6K, but I was thinking that the rate would be a little bit below market rates. So the way that I've got to make this work for me is my normal down payment is 20%. I'm getting my same interest rate, so it's got to yield somewhere. I'm thinking I'll probably, do better on the down payment, but I am eating kind of a challenging interest rate in this scenario.
And that's how we're gonna do. That's wholesaling. And as these properties come more and more on the market, or they go into foreclosure, the next boom is coming. It's coming. People are gonna panic, but I keep saying you gotta have the skills to be able to do it. And that's it. You just gotta know between AI and how to move the needle to take advantage of it.
The Trump administration's plan to make housing cheaper is to deport illegal immigrants. And you may think that sounds stupid, but it's also literally how economics works. For example, it's simple supply and demand. California is a good example of this. California stopped building homes because it was so expensive due to environmental and other regulations that California would put in place. And that's why California has continued to be one of the most unaffordable places to live, because no houses means no supply. No supply with demand still high means price goes up. So it shouldn't surprise you that if you lessen the demand, and how do you lessen the demand? You take people out of the market. How do you take people out of the market? You deport them. You are deporting people who want to own a home. When you do that, you're taking the supply away from the demand side. Now there's less demand with the same amount of supply. Price goes down. And that example is just like in California. If you're in Florida, where they are,
I would actually say also, the more you deport people, you increase supply too. Even if you don't touch the demand, the supply increase will also make it where the demand now can be met because you have more supply, and actually will drive down the value. They don't talk about that. That drives down those asking price. That drives down those rental rates that you guys are complaining about sometimes. And I get it, because the rents are high.
Building homes. Not only is supply going up, but demand is going to go down because you're deporting people, which means prices are going to fall drastically quicker. But liberals don't like to hear this because it's economics, and liberals don't like to talk about economics. But then two, because they're always talking about affordable housing. But the reason they have to make housing affordable is they're letting 1 million people into the country all the time, which increases demand while limiting supply, meaning price goes up.
This week I started doing foreclosures on undocumented properties that the people had to leave in a hurry. I just left one. Pizza boxes open, pizza was still there, all the food was still in the pantry. They grabbed whatever valuables they could, left everything else behind. These are foreclosures, so these are homes that were bought using FHA, guaranteed by the government for undocumented people. Last month, over 252,000 people were deported in Texas alone. So all of a sudden, we're starting to see the effects now. I did another one yesterday. They come tagged as possible undocumented immigrant. Furniture's there, fish tank, dead fish. They left in a hurry. If you want to see that content, I put that content on my wife's page or on my YouTube page. My wife's page is Ants and Liz, or Ants_Liz, or Ants.
Oh, that's his page. Let's go to it. Oh, that was the last one. So, this is kind of, to me, the new wave. This is what's going to happen, and we'll see it happen over the next 12 to 24 months, even 72 months, to fix an issue having to do with the mortgage or the property issue or the real estate issue, real estate demand and the supply that's outpacing, that's not even keeping up with the demand. First, you do have to go through the system and find out who has shit that they not supposed to have. And if you're somebody, you believe that an undocumented immigrant, someone that's here illegally, someone that didn't go through the process to be here, has a right to actually own a home in the U.S., then you're just the victim of your demise, and you're the engineer of it at the same time. Because ain't nowhere in the world that you're going to go, and any country you're going to go into, sit down and tell them you want to buy a house and you want to own some of their land. They will laugh you out the country. They will laugh you out the country. You will be a laughing stock at immigration, because you can't go to Dubai and do it. You can't go to China and do it. You damn well can't go even to the UK and do it. Can't. We're the only country in the world where you can come in just like this randomly and just buy shit. I think there's one other country. I think Belize, they allow, you don't have to have a citizenship, I think, with Belize. But Belize, who's going there? I mean, it's nice to visit, probably beautiful terrain, but come on, raising your family, schools, let's be for real. Infrastructure, let's get for real. Let's get for real. I'm a believer that every person should be entitled to some type of housing. Nobody should live on the street. But when we talk about owning land and being responsible for that thing, no, I'm not for it. I'm just not for it. I'm just not for it. America has enough issues than just giving this land to people that are undocumented, people of nationality of other countries that don't want to leave their nationality, don't want to leave their country, but they want all the benefits of our country. And when you tell people that, they say you're racist, they say you're this, you're that. But nope. But the same people who make these comments, they never lived anywhere outside of the US. They don't see how we're so generous in our country already. They don't see it. They prefer to actually view it in the stance of, if this is not done, then we're evil, we're wrong. And you cannot have compassion without having logic. And you can't have so much logic with no compassion. I'll come against the Democrats, Republicans, and say the same thing too. You can't be so legalistic that you don't put things in place to help people to win the opportunity to become a citizen of the country. Why do you think they're here? They want to become a citizen. We just need to see if they're the right ones for this country. That's it. But we definitely know up until 2025, May 2025, FHA has been giving out loans to undocumented immigrants left and right. As of May 2025, it's over. And now, after those deportation push went through with Trump, this is it. This is the result of it. And I think it's only going to get more deep, more worse, we're going to see more and more of it. And if you are a citizen of the country and you want to get into real estate, you want to buy a house, you want to get land, it's coming. It's coming. Hey guys, like, subscribe, follow. I am going to be out. I cover all my main points today. You guys be blessed. And more importantly, remember who you are, man. Remember who you are. Remember who you are. God is more concerned with you embracing who He made you to be than anything else. All this other rhetoric and these lies and deceptions they talk about, no, it is not. Because when you receive who He made you to be, then now you can actually walk in the fullness that He designed for you to walk in, and you can truly be a help to people.